Hello, it's Jim Brown here with the illustrations for Chapter 3 of my book, Among the Multihulls. 4 minutes. Now it's time for the ancient double outrigger canoe to become a modern seafaring trimaran. There were several stages of development, including this one by my old friend Wolfgang Crocker von Schwarzenfeld. In this old clipping from the Miami Herald, we have Wolfgang setting out across the North Atlantic to sail back to Europe. Note that this thing is a collection of aircraft wing tanks, 2 forward and 1 aft. This was 1957. I didn't see him again for 30 years. But I did meet Arthur Piver. He's considered to be the father of the modern trimaran. In this historic photograph, we have his first trimaran design on the right, the 16-foot Frolic, and on the left is the first seagoing trimaran, the 24-foot Nugget design. Sausalito, California, 1957. And this is Juana, the 24-foot Nugget that I built in 1959 and which Joanna and I took to sea. I put that little cuddy cabin on her, and she was a wonderfully handy little boat. She was built for less than $2,000, and note that as she comes up to the camera and tacks, that she is on a reach. She is one of the few multi-hulls I know of that will tack from one reach to another. Very maneuverable. Note that the hull is wide open from astern. Joanna and I met while I was building the boat, and by the time I had it finished, she was 5.5 months pregnant with our firstborn son, Stephen. We were living in the Sausalito houseboat community, which was a wonderfully ramshackle place in that time. But we wanted adventure, and I was hot to sail back to the Caribbean, so despite Joanna's condition, yeah, here's a portrait of the would-be designer as a young man, a scared young man. But we sailed out the Golden Gate and turned left, and the next thing we knew, we had no idea how the boat would perform in the deep Pacific rollers. I was terrified that she would be inundated from the stern by a breaker, but as the waves would come up, she would just catch them and run ahead of the seaway. Same speed as the waves. Incredible sensation. Most terrifying thrill on this planet. We didn't know it at the time, and we probably wouldn't have cared, but this apparently was the first modern trimaran to go to sea, 1959. For us, this was an entirely new kind of seafaring, as it would become for many others. Well, to take this whole trip with us, of course, you have to read the book, and so I'm hoping you'll go on to Chapter 4 and then come back here for its illustrations. Fair winds.